Hello. I'm going to introduce myself. I am Eva, and I'm from Croatia. I got a very nice topic from Fotini to talk about European citizenship in time of crisis. And it made me think a lot. And I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be here with all of you, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. And at this position, I'm very proud. Yes, and now I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself, because I have foreseen, I'm not going to talk about a lot of technical stuff. I'm going to talk about me, because it's a perfect opportunity to present myself to you and what I do back home. I am a project officer from Europe House Slavonski Brod. This is the website of the Europe House. Unfortunately, it's all in Croatian, but you can come and the most of the projects actually that we do are the international project. And they are written in English, and so you can see what we are doing. Europe House is a non-governmental organization that is doing a lot to activate our local community. This is very important to understand why our job is relevant, to understand where we come from. My city is on Croatian border with Bosnia and Herzegovina. That was destroyed during the war. Our region is the poorest region in Croatia. 51% of the population lives in rural areas. A lot of young people are without the job. Behind the Greece and Spain, Croatia has the third largest unemployment rate of the young people. I don't know, the last statistics were around 47%, but I think these statistics were a little bit changed because of the fact that the elections were recently, so maybe they were adjusted a bit. Besides this, we are a Europe Direct Information Center, an information center for youth in our region. And do you know what Europe Direct is? No? No? Who knows what Europe Direct is? Europe Direct Information Center. Please raise the hands. You don't know? Okay. No, it is European Commission. This is an important question to ask you, because you were supposed to know what Europe Direct Information Center is, because European Commission created these centers as an information center for each citizen of European Union to get information about everything that European Commission does. So we are a contact point in our region that is supposed to inform the citizens about the policies. But, okay, I'm going to talk about what I do. One part of my job is to do presentations like this. I have to talk about boring stuff, because I'm obliged to present European policies. And I spend a lot of time lecturing and teaching, sometimes, most of the times, in a non-formal way, which I prefer, because I'm terrified of microphones, by the way. So this is, I am not enjoying this. But okay, and the other part of my job is writing projects. This means I have to do a lot of research. There is a lot of reporting. And in the NGO sector in Croatia, the only income you have is from the funds you earn by writing projects. So if you don't write projects, you don't exist. If you don't get projects approved, there will be no funds to continue working. So sometimes I feel more like this, especially during the deadlines, you know, the stress that is affecting all of us. So when I think about my professional life, I am ticking the boxes, you know. I did my job and lecturing. I'm getting every time better and better. some topics are more for me, some topics not, but I'm improving constantly and I'm pretty happy. And about the projects, okay, so I think I'm kind of successful because recently, most of the projects, some of the projects that we write, they get approved and we are having a lot of things to do. I am busy, so I'm happy. But recently, I start asking myself, I'm talking about my personal life, if actually, if I'm making the real impact, and what impact I am having on the people that I am working with. What impact I am having right now on you. I don't know if you ever saw this wall, Before I Die. Have you seen this? Yes? No? This is the wall, and it's written Before I Die. And actually, I saw it for the first time in South Africa. And I stood in front of the wall, and I was thinking, what should I write? And I am very naive or ambitious, and I really wrote, I would like to change the world. I'm but I'm naive, more than ambitious. But yeah, I was asking myself, so let's see what impact actually I'm having. In this, if you see the learning pyramid, this lecturing thing that I'm doing right now means that 5 people out of 100 will actually remember what I talked. This means that there is not 100 people here, but this means that 2 people maybe from this room will actually remember what I talked right now. And okay, so this is one side of my professional life. Let's look at the other one. So you see, the educational system does not work. You see, we kind of sit in the same way here. The other thing of my professional life is the reality is, for example, for citizens, 500 projects they apply, only 25 get approved. So it's a very big competition. On the last Erasmus Plus round that I was writing, I applied 4 projects and only 1 got approved. So I call this system failure. We use the matrix team together, like Iveta yesterday. And I want to ask you, do you also sometimes feel that the competencies you have in your life and what you are is not transferred in the real world and in your society the way it should be? And I sometimes feel that I could do more. So how to overcome this gap that society, there is a need in the society, definitely. But, and I have talent, and each of you, no matter what you do, you have something that you can give to the society, and society has a need for it. And when you think about it, our lives are very, very busy. And you can say I'm a bit pessimistic, but we are too busy living our lives. And I call this, there are too many information in this world, and we can process certain amount of it. And I call this bandwidth. There is a certain amount of the information that we can get in our mind that we can process and deal with. So, how often in your life you have a say? There is a lot of things that is already defined. For me, European Commission defines what I'm going to do. They have priorities in the program. I cannot do whatever I want. If I want to open I cannot do whatever I want. So I have to fit inside of the box. And I think that we do not have a lot of time in our life that when we can say what we want to say. And yet, we live in the society where we have never been placed in a better position to make our lives and our communities better. We live longer according to the life expectancy. We are safer, we are wealthier, and we are healthier than our ancestor, my grandmother and my grandfather were. They are not my grandmother and grandfather, but it's a nice photo. And when you think of it, the digital, we have ICT in our hands. The digital revolution made the world very reachable. but we live our lives like we look at the, swipe the phones very quickly. We are spectators, we are not actors. We are consumers, we are not citizens. And we actually, I don't know about you, but I am speaking from the Croatian perspective, and people feel powerless. And this is troubling, because in order to feel good about your life, you have to have a feeling that you have a control of your life. And it is true, we get sometimes engaged. We sometimes go to a protest, or we sign a petition for some kind of cause that we find concrete. But is this a participation? Is this enough? I mean, can you be satisfied that you once in every couple of months sign one petition and then you can consider yourself to be a citizen? And then you're unhappy about the situation that you live in, and you are looking for the solutions. And what society usually give us, they give us options. So you can go and you can vote. But is this enough? The voting is every 4 or 5 years. The other option is, of course, you can go and you can run for the office. So you can change the situation in a way that you become a politician. But for most of the people, this is either not enough, the voting, and going to election is too much. Most of us are somewhere in the middle. So how, I'm going to skip I have a question here that maybe you should think about. What incentive, for example, would have some politician that lives in Croatia, and for example, our Prime Minister to start talking about the LGBT rights? Why would he do that? Because he knows that majority of population in Croatia is very traditional, not open to this. Why would he want to risk his career and start talking about this? Or why would other European countries worry about the migration crisis that is happening here in Greece and Italy? Why would the other countries that are not touched by this get involved? What are their incentives? People don't think, but what my proposition and solution for this would be is I called it citizens lobbying. It does not have to be lobbying, it could be activism, there are advocacy, there are different, lobbying is part of the advocacy. I'm not going to go into this, but what I am proposing and telling you is that maybe the middle ground between the voting in every 4 years and going and run for the office, maybe this is the place where you can fit in. And I'm going to give you the example of when we started talking, I'm mentioning the crisis, and I think Italy, Greece, this is a very relevant situation here happening to you. Also in Croatia, it was, recently we had also problems with migrants, and my city where I come from, we had a transition camp. So the migrants that were going from Serbia and Macedonia that were coming to Croatia, they were staying in our city. And what Europe Direct did, we connected people. What happened in my city, there was a situation to explain. Some migrants ran away from the train. And then there were all speculations. The attack in France happened. So people started getting afraid that they will get attacked by the migrants, and they were not open and welcoming. They freaked out about migrants moving inside of the Croatia and taking over the Croatia, and then Croatian people are moving out. So there was a lot of talks by media, social media, and people in my city also got very afraid because they were worried about their safety. So what Europe Direct, for example, did, we organized a meeting with the Red Cross, a person that was coming, Syrian asylum seeker, with students from Slavonski Brod. And we allow them to have a constructive dialogue for this person to explain what are they experiencing. And I am very proud of this event, because I think it was eye-opening for these 20 or 30 young people that participated in this event. Also, European Commission recognized it. They chose it as the event of the month among all of the European countries regarding the topics, regarding the migrant crisis. And I'm going to skip this one. Why am I decided that I want to talk about the citizen lobbying? Because unlike the democracy, it actually, lobbying works. Not only lobbying, but advocacy and active citizens that want to change their situation, it works. And it is for all. All of us are lobbyists. How many times? You are lobbying every day. In a relationship with your boyfriend or girlfriend, when you want to get something nice, you are lobbying for this. Or when you have to talk with your wife who is going to change the diaper, you are lobbying for this as well. All of us are having, it's a skill that all of us have. And it is good for the democracy, it is good for the society. And each of you have a talent that can share and enrich the society that we live in. That's why I am calling up to you to use this talent. And for example, everyone can do it. And this is the photo, and I'm going to finish soon. Please remind me about the time, because when I start talking, I talk. Yes? Okay. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples that to some people it seems like nothing. In Croatia, you know that Croatia was 20 years ago, it was a civil war, and between Croatia and Serbia when Yugoslavia separated. And Vukovar is one of the cities in Croatia on border with Serbia that got destroyed a lot. And a lot of people died. So in this city, there is a lot of hate still living on. But there is a huge community of Serbian people still living in Vukovar. And so what they do now there, people from Serbia go in the morning in the school, and people from Croatia in the afternoon. They have separate books. Croatian learn Croatian history, Serbian learn Serbian history. So they are living in the same city, they are coexisting together, but they are still keeping the cut between them. And our government, in the last couple of years, tried to make an initiative, tried to change. And one of the steps that they wanted to show respect was that they gave bilingual signs, which you can see. You cannot see, but the sign was bilingual. The first one was written in Croatian, the other one was written in Serbian. We also have Italian community in other parts of Croatia, no problem. We have Italian bilingual signs, this is okay. But the Cyrillic, it caused a riot. And it caused a riot that the police had to stand. Am I moving? No? Okay. That the police had to stand and protect the signs not to be destroyed. And then in this kind of situation, it's very hard for people to coexist together. You could see graffitis, yes? You could see graffitis everywhere. And I want to show you a good example of a person that took an action. It's an anonymous person, we don't know who did it. On this sign, you can say Ubi, Ubi Srbina, which means kill, kill Serbin. And then some nice person that wanted to make a statement added one letter in front of Ubi, and it says Ljubi, which means kiss, kiss Serbin. And people started changing these angry and very offensive graffitis into a very, very nice section. Also, a young couple, it got on all of the Balkan news stories, poor love between a Serbian boy and Croatian girl. They made a statement because their parents were not supportive, but they made a statement. Also, an example of a girl that took for a month, she just showed up in the middle of the city. She stood up in the square and said nothing. Nothing. She was coming there every day. She would stand up and do nothing. She got first she got in local news media, then she got in national, then she got in Balkan news media, and then I just saw the article in BBC. They were reporting on the girl that was protesting. They were speculating. She did not say why she's there. She was protesting against the economic situation in Bosnia and against the unemployment of what government is doing. And it was she was very silent, but very loud, and made an impact. She made such a big impact that today I'm talking about her to you. And I'm very happy that I can introduce you to this Jelena lady from Prijedor, which, yeah. So, to conclude and stop talking too much, I want to tell you that you are the change that you are waiting for. Yes, we are the ones that we've been waiting for. So thank you very much for your attention. If you have any questions, you can come up later and talk to me. I did not put any of the information about my organization up there, but yes, I'm open to share more.